It's a story of a returning home. Giampaolo, Repetto, and Marina, the owners, after a life spent in another kind of business, they decided to back to their agricultural roof. So some years ago, they bought new hectares of vineyards in this beautiful corner of Piedmont, Terre d'Artona, and they started this new project focused on Timorasso variety and Barbera variety. Every time I talk about the story behind the winery, I love to recall this quote by Victor Hugo. Do as trees do. So change your leaves, but keep your roof. This is what perfectly represents us as Repettos.
Welcome to this special Clubhouse session of the Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as members of the Italian wine community engage in fascinating conversations about contemporary wine topics. If you enjoyed the show, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. And remember to subscribe and rate the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your pods.
Hello and welcome to Clubhouse, the Ambassador's Corner. My name is Carla Ravagnolo and today I'm pleased to welcome Anna Obuhovskaya and her guest Sara Repetto from Vigneti Repetto Winery. Welcome everybody.
Ciao, ciao tutti.
Ciao, ciao a tutti.
So Anna, you are a Clubhouse veteran, as we've mentioned. You've been taking us around Italy as you interviewed many different producers. But for those who are listening to the Italian Wine Podcast for the first time, would you like to share a few information about your wine background and yourself?
Yes, with pleasure. So I've been into wine industry for 6 years, and mostly my expertise is in wine retail marketing and sales. I worked in a number of bigger wine importing companies and independent projects. I also founded the Italian Wine Tasting Club in Saint Petersburg in Russia, and in 2020 I began my journey as Italian wine ambassador. And for the last 3 years, I'm based in Slovenia, and currently I am leading export development and sales strategies for wineries at Nautilus Trade Company, which I founded. So this is pretty much it.
So my question now is, how did you discover about Vigneti Repetto?
Well, we first met at Vinitaly last year. I cannot believe it. It's been just 1 year ago. Time really flies. But this wine fair, Vinitaly is such a crossroads of great wine producers and wine professionals and enthusiasts. And Sara reached out to me for a tasting, which I joined, and I absolutely loved the wines from the first sip.
Nice. So why did you decide to invite Sara Repetto with us today?
Well, being a big fan of Italian whites, I especially cherish the ones that are big on structure and deliver a lot more than just freshness. I love those that could accompany a wide range of food. And Timorasso, grape variety, is a long time my favorite. I think Vigneti Repetto is doing such a great job on the quality of their wines. And I wanted people to learn more about this producer, and this is why I have chosen her.
Amazing. So last question, what are the learning objectives that we should expect from this interview?
Well, I would like us to speak today about Timorasso grape variety, but also, it's a variety that comes from the east of Piedmont. It's a lot less known than Nebbiolo, the red grape. And I would like also to touch a bit more and discuss particular features that influence the quality of these wines and talk about more of this part of Piedmont, eastern part of Piedmont.
Amazing. I'm very much looking forward to hearing your conversation with Sara, so I'll now mute myself so you can properly introduce your guest.
Well, Sara is a seasoned wine ambassador and export manager with decades of experience. She's originally from Piedmont, born in Gavi, and she tirelessly travels the world about 200 days a year, promoting Italian wild culture. And as a consultant in export and marketing, she is also a member of the Donne del Vino Association. She is passionate about sharing the stories of native grape varieties, winemakers, and their territories. And Tortona is her great love. Ciao Sara, come stai?
Ciao Anna, sto bene, tu?
Bene, grazie. Well, my first question would be about the Vigneti Repetto estate. And could you please tell us the story behind this estate and the vineyards?
Oh, it's a story of a returning home. Gianpaolo, Repetto, and Marina, the owners, after a life spent in another kind of business relating to the mold, they decided to back to their agricultural roof. So some years ago, they bought new hectares of vineyards in this beautiful corner of Piedmont, Terre d'Artona, and they started this new project focused on Timorasso variety and Barbera variety. Every time I talk about the story behind the winery, I love to recall this quote by Victor Hugo. Do as trees do. So change your leaves, but keep your roof. This is what perfectly represents us as Repettos, really. I think this can describe our philosophy.
Well, this is a very interesting explanation, quite an interesting approach. Could you then tell a bit about your duties in the winery? I know you're a multitask person, and yes, you're here and there. If you were not an expert manager, I would think you're a professional traveler looking at your Instagram. So what are your duties?
Definitely, I'm a professional traveler. This is true. I'm a pro on that. And at the winery, I'm in charge to develop export sales. And I also wine ambassador for Vigneti Repetto winery. This is my job. I travel a lot, at least 200 days a year, all around the world. And I'm really proud to work with Gianpaolo and Marina because they really make great wines. But the most important things, they are great people. So wine is made by the people, for the people. And I feel blessed every day to have the chance to talk around the world about this story, this wine, to explain the Repetto philosophy. I'm really blessed and I'm really happy to make this kind of job. Sometimes it's really, a struggle with many times, slightly late, many other stuff. But in the end, meet new people, talk about Italian wines, Italian culture is something that makes me happy, really.
Yeah, we have a lot in common. I think not only with me, but also with people who listen to this interview. We all love Italian wines. That's why we're here in this podcast. And Sara, can you please tell me a little bit more of Timorasso? Well, it seems to be the variety that you focus on mostly. How would you describe these wines to someone who has never tasted it before?
I adore this grape, Anna. I love Timorasso. And yes, today it represents my main project in my professional life. I can still remember the first time I had a tasting of it many years ago. And it was a kind of bomb. It was love at first sip. Timorasso is the name of the grape, but the name of the wine is Dertona. Dertona is the small capital of the appellation, is the ancient Roman city of Tortona, and the Latin name of Tortona is Dertona. And this name is very ancient, but is still in use today. And it's important to mark this because great wines are always tied to a land name, such as Barolo, Brunello, and is the same as Dertona. So Timorasso is the grape, Dertona is the wine. Talking about the variety, what I have to say? I like to describe Timorasso grape as a very, very unique experience, something that is unexpected for an Italian white wine. It's a great, elegant, with incredible aging potential variety. Native variety, very peculiar in this little corner of Piedmont. If I have to describe Timorasso to somebody never tasted, generally speaking, I make this question. Do you like Riesling from Mosel, Chenin Blanc, Assyrtiko from Santorini, Chablis? If they say yes, I'm sure they will love Timorasso because it depends on the moment when you will taste. But this variety has some point in common in terms of tasting note with Riesling, Chenin Blanc, Assyrtiko, and Chablis. But in the end, it's a native variety, is a wine with a very strong personality. For sure, is unforgettable. When you taste it, you will never forget. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think this is the wine that fascinates. This is the variety that really fascinates connoisseurs, but also just wine enthusiasts, because it's very different. Yeah, it's deep. It has a lot of power and also great aging potential. I mean, when you drink it young, it's still pleasant, but being aged, it just adds so much quality to it. It's one of those amazing Italian varieties that sometimes beat red grapes in the complexity, in the longevity, in pleasure. I like comparing this grape or this style of wine with champagne, because it has both minerality and depth, and depending on the producer, it just shows quite a different style. So those of you who listen to us and never tasted this grape variety before, I think there is something pleasant for you ahead, some great adventure. Please find and take advantage. And returning to questions, I would love to ask what are the particular features of this area? How Eastern Piemonte, Dertona or Tortona is different from area of Barolo or Barbaresca, from Langhe area, or Alto Piemonte? What are the particular features of the area?
So Colli Tortonesi area is located south of Piemonte, in a little corner bordering Liguria from a side, Emilia and Lombardy. The area is an hilly area. We are around 300 meters elevation, where we have our vineyards at Repetto winery. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And on the sunny days, you can see both the Alps with Monviso, Monte Bianco on a side. And on the other side, you can see Apennines, because we are not too far away from Genova also. It's less than 1 hour drive, Ligurian Sea. The soil in Colli Tortonesi is a very famous soil. I'm sure you heard about that. It's a Tortoniano soil. And this kind of land dates back 9 million years ago. In the past, where nowadays we have the vineyards, there was the sea. So fossils are a common feature in our terroir. Another specificity of terroir is the Marne di Sant'Agata. Marne di Sant'Agata originate in this little corner of Piemonte. Sant'Agata is the name of a little village of the appellation. And so this kind of soil, combined with our microclimate, gives Colli Tortonesi wine minerality, longevity, elegance. Comparing Langhe area, especially Barolo area, we have the same soil, but a little bit different weather, because we are more south as a part of the region, and so the weather is warmer. We have a lot of sun, and especially during winter time, we receive a wind from the seaside, the Ligurian coast. We call it marine, and this wind apports this sapidity, salinity. It's very beautiful during the cold winter days. January specifically is a moment where we feel marine. We have this warm and beautiful weather. So something is in common with Langhe area, but something is completely different.
It's really interesting. And which factors influence the quality the most?
For sure, the soil, it makes a big difference. Tortoniano soil is a very elegant kind of soil for Timorasso that gives longevity and minerality. Many times people ask me, you are by the sea? No, we are not. We are in Piemonte, but you can feel the sea in our glasses of Timorasso. This for sure is a very, very important element in our production.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that. It has a lot of minerality. It has a lot of this feeling on the style. Yes, absolutely. But it's quite interesting that, I had a chance to visit the area in January, and you actually need some luck to get to see the area, because when I arrived, there was nebbia, the fog, covering the hills. So it was difficult or almost impossible to see the hills, the area, even though I traveled and tried to make my chance to explore more. I just wasn't lucky with the weather. Did the weather change in Tortona for the last few years. Are there any challenges regarding global warming or?
The famous nebbia from Piemonte. I remember the day, Anna. Yes, it was a foggy day. Honestly speaking, famous nebbia from Piemonte, this is true. In the past, yes, we used to have a lot of fog, but it was almost disappeared. This year, I don't know why. It backs. No, I know why. Because we had a very humid season, so we have a nebbia again in the area. Talking about climate change, this is the great challenge of our time. Timorasso is a very, very difficult grape to grow, and it struggles with humidity, generally speaking. This is one of the reasons because in the past it was almost disappeared because the weather was completely different in our area. So this climate change at the beginning was not so bad because the warmer and drier temperatures benefit Timorasso. It found a kind of relief in this drier condition. But however, the last vintages, not the last one, 24, but 22, 23, 21, it has been very, very hot. So not easy, definitely. And the main reason was the lack of the water, the lack of the rain. On 23, we missed the water for 3 months. Summertime was a kind of desert with a lot of dust. Unbelievable, really, really very hot. So extremely hot is not good for Timorasso because Timorasso tends to burn quite easily. So to give you an example, we have started avoiding excessive leaf thinning to provide more shade for the grape clusters. But this year, I think it will be completely different because we had a lot of rain. No snow. In the past, Colli Tortonesi was a snowy area. I can clearly remember meters of snow. On 2024, we just had half a day, 8th of December of snow, so nothing. But in terms of irrigation, situation is good because we had a lot of rain. Now it's very important be precise in vineyard management. It's very crucial to be open-minded and be brave also because it's not possible just complain about climate change. We can control the climate, but we can control our way of working in the fields. So it's very important be flexible and try to adapt to this new situation. This is very crucial.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. I think now for the last years, a lot happening. At least what winemakers say that the biggest challenge is weather to be unexpected, because it's either rainfall or frost or something. But at least you never know what the next year would be and what are the new difficulties are out there. Well, I think anyhow you're lucky with the hands in the winery with people with experience and with the knowledge what to do and how to maintain the quality in every year. But what I would like to talk about also, besides Timorasso, what are other varieties you also work with? Could you tell a bit more?
Another important variety we grow is Barbera. After all, we are in Piedmont. It seems like there is an unwritten rule. If you are a wine producer in Piemonte, you must produce at least a few bottles of Barbera. And we like Barbera. We drink Barbera. So I think Piedmontese people has Barbera in the blood. You can find Barbera all around the region, Alto Piemonte, for sure Alba, Asti, and also in Colli Tortonesi. And it's very interesting to see how this grape express in different way depending on the area of the region. In Colli Tortonesi, in Terra d'Ertona, Barbera has this warm and velvety character. It's so smooth, soft. It's a kind of hug. And for sure, we have acidity in our Barbera because it's still Barbera, but it's never too aggressive. We produce different style of Barbera, from the classic stale and still And we also produce our sub-appellation, is Monleale. Monleale is also the name of a small village nearby Tortona with more structure aging oak. So we like Barbera, we drink Barbera, and we want to make Barbera really affordable for everybody. It's very democratic. And the expression in Colli Tortonesi for us means wines with a great personality, a lot of fruity note, excellent aging potential. So we base our winery on these two grapes. On the white side, Timorasso, and for the red one is Barbera.
And which one is more popular? I mean, what is your best seller?
So it depends on the country, because now Tortona is living a kind of a gold moment in Italy. Everybody wants Tortona, needs Tortona, drink Tortona. So Italy is a really very interesting market. Abroad, we started to develop export, and we are present, I think, around 28 countries at this time. Barbera, for sure, is very popular. It's a very famous variety from the region, a kind of flagship grape from Piedmont. So we are doing very well with both. But back to Timorasso, the interesting on this variety is growing quite fast all around the world.
Once you're in Piedmont, you definitely eat and drink equally well. And what are the most typical dishes or products in Eastern Piedmont?
I like this question because we like food. We like discuss about food. We like discover new food. And Piedmont is a very interesting area for the food culture. But we are in Italy, so every little corner has something very peculiar, very unique. And the tradition in Colli Tortonesi is a little bit different comparing the classic Piedmont. This is a borderland area, and like all the border areas, is rich in different styles, different influences. And the food is a mix of different regional tradition. You know, we are nearby Emilia. Emilia is such a great region for the food, Lombardia, Liguria. And we have something very, very unique, not just the Timorasso, but also some very unique food. For example, we have Salame Nobile del Giarolo. The salami called noble because the production is a very limited production nearby Monte Giarolo on the Apennines of Colli Tortonesi appellation. And here we don't produce ham. So all the part of the pig, even the finest cuts, are used to make salami. And this is very, very tasty. It's perfectly with our local focaccia. And focaccia is present in the area for the Ligurian influence. Another very interesting food is a legendary cheese. The name is Montebore. And this cheese is made with cow and sheep milks, and is famous also as Leonardo da Vinci cheese, because a legend say that during Granducato di Milano, he selected for the wedding of Gian Galeazzo Sforza and Isabella di Aragona this cheese to celebrate the wedding. This is the reason why the shape of Montebore can remember a wedding cake. It's very tasty. It can age very well. Something to try. And the area is also very famous for the fruit. We have pesche di Volpedo, peaches from Volpedo. Volpedo is the name of the village. And they are really fragrant with an incredible flavor when you eat fresh in the season. But you can preserve all year round if you put in water and sugar. So it's something very, very tasty. And then Garbagna cherries. Garbagna is a little town among a village in Italy, and Garbagna cherries are the most delicious cherries in the world, definitely. Let me figure. Oh, Fragolina di Tortona. Fragolina di Tortona is an hybrid between classic strawberry, Fragolina from strawberry, and wild strawberry. But it's quite impossible to find the Fragolina di Tortona in other parts of Italy because the shelf life is very, very short. That means 24 hours. And the season is very short too because we just have this amazing fruit in May, 2 weeks more or less. So Please come in May to taste Fragolina di Tortona. It's a great experience. The local restaurants use this fruit to prepare some local dishes, so tasty. And then, last but not least, it's still Piemonte. We have truffles. Everybody knows truffle from Alba. Yes, for sure, white truffle from Alba. But Colli Tortonesi area is very important too, because we have both white and black truffle. And the area has been celebrating truffle for over half a century. So also fall season is the right time to come to visit us for the truffle.
Well, it's almost impossible to listen to you describing all these dishes and not having anything to eat or drink. It's really challenging when you describe all that and just to stay without food. So I guess this is why. So having so many specialties in Piedmont, I understand, and great wines also, I understand why so many people are attracted to travel. And when I visited the estate, Vigneti Repetto estate in January, I noticed that you have some facilities for agriturismo to stay overnight or few nights and have a wonderful view on the vineyards. Can you tell, is tourism getting more active lately, and how this area is attractive for tourists? Besides food and wine, of course.
Besides food and wine, yes, we have wine tourism. But not just like that. At our winery, now we have 5 rooms, so we have hospitality area, and we host event, wedding. We can arrange every kind of private event, also for the companies. And we also have guests. Honestly speaking, this is one of the reasons because we decided to develop also this side of the business. Back to the area, Colli Tortonesi is a little unspoiled paradise in Piedmont. The tourism is growing, not so fast, but is growing step by step. The main reason for sure is wine at this time. But come here if you want to really experience something authentic. The landscapes are stunning. Where you have the cellar, you can have a 360 a total view all around the area. There are such beautiful untouched places, little villages, and the local hospitality is warm and spontaneous. Is really authentic and true experience. Please come to visit us. You are more than welcome.
Thank you for this invitation. I think after this interview, more and more people would love to come and check out the area, just because it's so fascinating. Again, speaking from my experience, I did not expect, I love traveling. I love visiting different corners of Italy. But my trip to Tortona in January was so surprising. I love these little towns and these beautiful hills. It's just something very nice, cozy. You do eat, drink, and eat well, and people are so nice. And it's so nice. I would love to be back for sure. And when you recommend your area to foreigners, what are the main things they should know or visit?
Take your time. This is what I recommend. No rush. Take your time to enjoy the slow life, the slow living, with a glass of Tortona in your hand, to enjoy local food, local restaurant. Enjoy the time, because we run every day, and we are really too stressed many times. Terra d'Artona is the right place to recover the mind, to recover the body, to have sport experience, for example, because you can hike the Val Borbera mountains. The Apennines over there are stunning, not just Monte Gerolo, but Monte Ebro is a very beautiful, wild area to be connected or reconnected with the nature. You can also cycle through the land of the legendary Fausto Coppi. Really, you can have a breath of life, a breath of beauty. And if you love art, this land is also very interesting to see, because Bellizza da Volpedo, this famous painter from Piedmont, is a symbol of divisionismo movement. And in Volpedo, there's a museum. In Tortona, we have a splendid pinacoteca. The area is very beautiful. It's really beautiful, and deserve a visit. Take your time, some days to fully recharge from the life.
Well, thank you so much. It sounds even more interesting with all the art possibilities, for sure. And are there any interesting events for food and wine that you would recommend to visit? Maybe some fairs, some festivals.
We have many festivals during all year round. We are in March, so it's approaching Dertona 2.0 in Tortona, in the little capital. And this event is dedicating to discover Dertona wines. You can meet many local wine producers, and it's very interesting because it's open to pro for some moment, and is also open for wine lovers. So it's a great moment to meet this area of wine producer. In May, we have a Saggia Tortona, like Taste Dertona, is a food and wine event in Tortona City. And you can taste all the local food and specialty. Sometimes a year we have a vintage market in Tortona. If you like vintage, I'm a vintage lover. Anna, she knows.
Yes.
You can find many little treasure from the past, and it's another good occasion to come and visit the area. And during the fall season, we have many little truffle fairs, and also one of the most historic truffle fair in Piedmont is the truffle fair of San Sebastiano Curone. San Sebastiano Curone is the name of the village, and is a very beautiful place with this painted house with the Ligurian style houses. The historic center is a nice place to have a stroll, and usually it's October, November, the moment, and you can buy and taste white and black truffle. And in Sebastiano Curone, we have the oldest restaurant of Piedmont too. So many occasions and many possibilities to come and visit the area.
Yes, absolutely. It was such a great introduction of the area by you, Sarah. Thanks so much. I think now it's a good time for the questions from the audience. If they would like to ask something, they can either write in the chat or raise a hand, and will be happy to give them floor. I would have the last question to you then. I'm really curious about the markets. Okay, for wine lovers, it's important to know about grape varieties and the area and the specifics, but to be able to get your hands on some bottles, it's even more important. That's why I'm really curious about distribution, but not only for maybe Vigneti Repetto, but also for the entire area, if you can speak so. What are the main markets you consider for Timorasso-based wines now? Which are main markets now, and which ones are in the development or in the first priority, let's say, first or second priority?
In terms of position, Dertona wine is a premium wine, sometimes super premium, because as for Barolo, the old vintages grow in value. So we are really present in Oreca segment, restaurant, wine bar, in many Michelin star restaurant. It's quite easy to find more than one Dertona on the wine list in the Michelin star restaurant. Italy is the main market at this time, but the appellation is growing in US, Canada, Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands, UK, all around Europe. Talking about Asia, you can find Dertona in Japan, Korea, Singapore. Also in Australia, on the other side of the world, it's possible to find Dertona. The traditional market are ready to start with this kind of wine. US is a focus market at this time, and so this more or less is the distribution of the appellation.
Thank you so much for this talk. I think it was very interesting, good introduction of Timorasso and Dertona, and thank you so much for being so enthusiastic. And please keep traveling and keep spreading good word about your home and about the wines that Vigneti Repetto makes. If there are no questions from the audience, I would love to give the floor to Carla. Hey, Carla.
Yes, I'm here. Sara, if I may ask you, because I know Anna mentioned right at the beginning that you met during Vigneti, if I'm not mistaken, but will you attend this year too?
Yes, we will be at Vigneti in all 10 Piedmont with a collective group of Piedmont land. So you are welcome to pass by to say ciao and taste our wines. Yes, I will be in town from Friday. So if you want to share a glass, it will be a pleasure.
That would be extremely nice, especially because I'm a big fan of Timorasso, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And with this positive note, I think this is a wrap. So thank you so much, Sara, for being enthusiastic. I totally agree with Anna about it. It was a real pleasure to listen to you and your story. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to invite me. I appreciate it. Hope to meet you live at Vigneti.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.